Hi guys, Rishi Sunak's situation has been compared to John Major's, but while Major did win in 1992, he lost big in 1997. Sunak may end up not calling an early election, still under the impression that something may change and boost his fortunes. Tim Montgomerie, a Tory and the founder of the influential Conservative home website, spoke to Times Radio about the pickle Sunak finds himself in. But while Tim would like to see the Tories rule forever, God forbid, he thinks the problem is that the electorate are looking for change. Have a listen.
I'm sort of generally not convinced by the general thing that if the economy was motoring, the Tories would have a better chance at the next election. I'm old enough to remember the period from 92 to 97, which, resulted in Tony Blair's landslide. The economy was motoring definitely in those years, but people had had enough of the Tories. And the basic Tory problem isn't the health of the economy. It isn't whether he's met 2 or 3 pledges. It's just the basic fact that 14 years in government is a very long time. And they've been 14 controversial years. And unfortunately, I'd love the Conservative Party to be in power forever because I'm a Conservative. But you can't stretch the electoral elastic too far.
Now, I agree with him to a certain extent. Yes, people are crying out for change, but you can't dismiss the economy and you can't dismiss the real elephant in the room here, the cost of living crisis. Because it's not just a matter of people are tired with the Conservatives, they've been in power for 14 years. It's about whether their lives have improved. And their lives have not improved. So it doesn't matter if there was a boost in the economy tomorrow. Ordinary people's lives have not improved over the last 14 years. They've gotten worse. So it's not just about people are tired, people want change, people are sick of the corruption within the Conservative Party. Yes, all of those things feed into that. But the main issue is the cost of living crisis and whether people's lives are better, and they're not.
And we are at the point, which is why I'd rather the Tories had an early election, because I think the longer this goes on, the electorate's impatience with the Conservatives is going to grow.
The more damage. Okay.
Damage, yeah.
Mike's been in touch, said, isn't Sunakism what happens when management consultants do politics? Ouch, Mike.
Promise after promise to control immigration. I don't think we would have left the European Union if it hadn't been for the electorate's desire to control immigration.
Now, I have to come in here. It was not the electorate's desire. Well, to a certain extent, yes, but the electorate were convinced that the main issue was immigration. Because when the Tories came to power in 2010, immigration was not an issue. It was very much down the pecking order. But the likes of Farage and headbangers within the Conservative Party convinced the public that immigration was important. So it was the Conservative Party who really dropped the ball here. Instead of actually explaining to the public, no, immigration is not a problem. We need immigration. Immigration benefits the economy. Instead, they listened to the likes of Farage and they danced to his tune. And of course, his main issue was immigration.
I don't think Boris Johnson would necessarily have won the 2019 election. It's certainly not in one of those red wall seats if he hadn't have promised control of immigration. But year after year, the level of immigration has risen to much higher levels than even Tories were criticising was the case under Tony Blair. So this has been a manifest political failing by the Conservative Party. And I support the kind of measures that Rishi Sunak has taken at the end of the year, although I wonder if actually they are far-reaching enough. But it's too late. To begin to put forward measures that could bring immigration control in the last full year you have in government after being in power over a decade isn't going to convince voters. And when the epitaph of the Sunak administration and the Conservative government is written, immigration will definitely have to be on the gravestone.
It will, and it's their own fault. They didn't actually have to go down this road. They could have faced down people like Nigel Farage and the headbangers within the Conservative Party and said, actually, immigration is a good idea. And look at the consequences of Brexit. We left the European Union. We ended freedom of movement, and this has been disastrous. There are a few Conservatives who are willing to tell the truth. But the main party is still banging on about we need to bring down immigration. Immigration is a problem. They've never actually come out. I've yet to hear Rishi Sunak come out and explain why immigration is a problem. There will be some who will say, well, it's because it's putting strain on the NHS, it's putting strain on public services. No, public services are under strain because they are underfunded. It's nothing to do with immigration. It's a scapegoat. But they deserve to lose if their main issue is immigration. It didn't have to be immigration. And I honestly believe that if the Conservatives had ignored Nigel Farage, or at least sidelined him and his immigration rhetoric, they could have actually held on to a bit more power. They could have held on to a few more seats. Because they could actually say, okay, let's not talk about immigration, let's talk about the economy. Let's try and boost our ratings with the public, our support with the public by investing in the economy instead of wasting so much money and effort on immigration. Look at Rwanda, £300 million wasted. That £300 million could have been spent on the NHS, building a few new hospitals even something just for show, to say, look, at least we've done something. They have done nothing for the NHS. They've done nothing for crumbling schools. The economy is on its knees. The cost of living crisis. Rishi Sunak could bring out a UBI. That would end the cost of living crisis. But he doesn't want to do that. He wants to instead focus on immigration because Nigel Farage is I don't know, attacking him in some way, nipping at his heels. It's ridiculous. But the Conservative Party are going to lose in part because of immigration, because of their focus on this instead of actually focusing on the cost of living crisis. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.